Yo, what's going on, guys? Gonna be playing some Lux in the mid lane. She got some mid-patch buffs giving her a lot more damage. She's feeling spicy right now and is definitely a solid pick mid and bot lane. For your best runes possible, take Arcane with Mana Flow, Transcendence Gathering Storm with Chief Shot, Ultimate Hunter, double AP, and 8 resistance. Lux isn't that great in the early game, and the chances of you getting solo kills in lane pre-6 are slim unless they're taking turret shots. So early on, pre-6, focus on farming, wave management, and mainly just staying alive. We're up against a Morgana. She doesn't have D shield, she has D ring. We can kind of poke her down. Her passive heals her off of champions and also off of large monsters from her ability damage. Go ahead and just shoot that over. Get all three. It's not horrible to push wave on Lux mid lane early on, as long as the enemy champion doesn't have strong follow-up. All she has is a snare. So if we watch our spacing, even if we get ganked, we'll be fine. Our mana flow is up though, so I would like to hit her with it. Got her with an E and an arcane comment. Whenever those are up, ideally you will be hitting the enemy, but if you make it super obvious, oftentimes they'll be able to dodge your E, especially if you're throwing it at max range, because the travel time will take longer. We have our Q now. We'll go ahead and drop this down. And now we have the wave completely pushed, so it's going to crash on our turret. We can hit her because our minions are here. We'll throw out a Q. She lined herself up against the wall. Since we had the minion advantage, even if she turned and tried to fight us, she would lose. 2 range creeps is a Soraka auto, and 3 is a D-Blade auto attack from 80 carry. Let's get a word down. Most junglers path from bot side to top side. So if you don't get ganked early from bot side, they'll probably attack you from the left from their top side jungle. This is where we want position at this point, around the 3-minute mark. Get a point and shield now. This wave's kind of pushing to us, which I'm fine with. I would actually be fine if she pushed into us here. Mana flows up, and so is Arcane Comment. When she goes in for an auto attack, then I'll hit her with an E. Whenever they're standing still or attacking is when you want to hit it with an ability, because you're less likely to miss it. If you're just randomly throwing abilities out at random times, odds are you're going to be missing it. Your worst matchups are champions that you can't poke at all, because then you're forced to just only really last hit. We'll pull the wave in a little bit. When we miss our snare, we'll go ahead and shield ourselves because we have high mana and we're tanking all these minions right now. Ideally, you don't want to have to shield yourself against minion damage. It's just with how the wave was. She's trying to push really hard right now, so I'm going to counter push with E. She's putting it in a spot where I'm kind of forced to. You want to max E first, Q second, and W last. Put it down right there and try to hit all the minions. She should be pressuring us since she has the minion advantage, unless she's worried about getting ganked. I just saw Diana cross over. Diana's obviously trying to get double minions right now. Ping that out for my teammates just in case they're not paying attention, so they know something's up over there. Diana is over there, so she goes to push the wave. We can counter push if we don't want her to crash it super hard. I don't necessarily want her to crash it super hard because that'll reset the wave. We're in a safe spot, trying to kind of hold it right here. She should be pressuring us away from the minions. If she was, I would have had to go back to my turret. And then we get the minion with our empowered auto attack from passive. So she's already used both potions and we've only used one. You don't typically want to use a potion until you're below half health. There we go. Get Arcane Comment and our mana flow. So if you're not at least half health, you don't typically use a potion when you're pre-6 because it throws away your bait potential, which is pretty important. The lower you are, the more aggressive and poorly they're going to play trying to secure a kill, or in their mind, try to force a kill. Just trying to push the wave. Arcane Comment mana flows up. We'll go to land at center here. Throw out an auto in mid-air to secure the minion. This is a decent gank. We missed the snare, but she also had black shield, so we couldn't actually snare her there. I was trying to time it to when her black shield naturally ended. She has one more minion than me, so the wave should in theory push to us. We'll go ahead and reset. We're out of mana, so staying to push the wave here wouldn't make a lot of sense. First item back, going for Lost Chapter is ideal since we can't really afford it. We could sell potion. I'll just head back to lane. I don't want to miss the wave. Could have stayed for a minion. We needed just 40 more gold for the Lost Chapter to never run out of mana. Morgana ended up staying and risked dying, and she couldn't properly shove the wave. She didn't have the mana to really do so. You don't usually roam much on Lux until you have tier 2 boots. She's a slow mobile champion. Close to restanding the minions, easier there. The last hit, our abilities will get there sooner. Let's get an auto on these. Want to make sure we don't miss any. And now we can push really fast with R. Your R is, it's a really good wave pushing tool. Since I don't think we need to use it here. We can already push this in without it. Auto attack Q, get those last 2 minions. Now she's kind of having to hold the wave, will pressure her off of it. Hit her with an E, that's mana flow and a arcane comet. It's a good trade for us. If you can hit them with an ability consistently when arcane's up, they're going to get poked down. The exception is if they start with D shield and resolve tree secondary for second win, then you can't really poke them down. You end up focusing more on last hitting. It's harder for her to land her arcane comment. She has to land her snare, otherwise we can walk out. That's the nice thing about Lux E is since it slows them, it's hard for them to walk out. We could just use E here. Nice, nice, nice. E costs a lot of mana. That's why you want to try to get Lost Chapter on your first back. I don't know where they're... Okay, so she's right there. I think she might have landed Arcane Comment that time. She steps up for the auto. I don't quite get her. If I land a Q, we might actually be able to kill her. Might actually be able to kill her. Slide it through the minion, try to get her. You don't typically want to back on a non-cannon wave, so we'll push this with an ER. Might as well. Wait for the minions to collapse a bit. Then we'll get down in E, kind of right in the center. ER, down goes the whole wave. And now we'll back. R is only about a minute cooldown, so it's not the end of the world to push a wave with it, especially if you need to reset. It's the fastest way to do so on Lux. Got Lost Chapter, we'll grab boots. Also go ahead and pick up a Dark Seal, we're not dying a lot. Also grab a Control Word. Diana ganks aren't amazing pre-6, but once she is 6, she has the hard CC. We're not going to be able to get away from a Morgana Diana combo. So far we have more CS than the Morgana. Lux is easier to last hit on because of her passive. Whenever you hit something, your next auto attack is empowered against it. Makes poking and minion farming easy. We've also generally been in a safer spot of the wave than Morgana. She's been more gankable than we've been pretty consistently. Go ahead and W myself there. Don't want to take too much damage. She's throwing out max range snares. Those are very unlikely to land. Go ahead and get a ward down right here. You can usually lay your control word back in this area to stop the jungle from deep ganking you. It also makes it harder for the enemy mid laner to break it because it's farther off to the side and they'll miss a lot of minions to go for it. It also helps your jungler out so they don't get invaded. You typically lay your more neutral ward that you get for free off here more neutral and aggressively. See Diana's top side with the Viego top. My R's up. Stand off to the side. We don't want to stand on our minions. Whenever you're standing on top of your minions, you're more likely to get hit by the enemy abilities. They're going to be trying to hit your minions and hit you at the same time. Her pools cost a lot of mana. Now she has to last hit those. Trying to pressure out her ability. Missed my Q. Got the E. We'll keep moving. Got my W down. I must be about to get ganked. Or she was thinking about trying to all-in me there when I had a huge HP advantage. We land the E. QR. Down she goes. I'll barrier myself to survive this. Walk away from him. Leave the E on as slow for as long as possible. If I was about to step out, we'll do it again to slow again. Land the Q. He flashes it. I'm dead. There's not much else we could have done there. He had everything. He had Ignite. He had Flash. He had R. He wouldn't go past our Q with his Flash. Flashes and blinks are the most annoying thing for Lux to land your Q because there's no way for you to really outplay it other than them just not using their Flash. It's very easy to go over the top of Lux Q. Lux skins are kind of overtuned. Pretty much every single one of her skins makes her OP because it makes it harder to see her abilities, especially Elemental Lux and Still Legion Lux. And It's not just my opinion. Those Lux skins are literally banned in pro play. I know for a fact you're not allowed to use Steel Legion Lux in pro play. It's too much of an advantage. With that being said, the base Lux skin is pretty solid. Her abilities are challenging to see. Your E slows them the whole time they're in it, and when you activate it, it slows them for an additional 1 full second. That's why when they're trying to walk through it, you want to try to let them walk in it for as long as possible. Also, when they line themselves up against walls, I'll just leave that there. She ended up missing it. That's hilarious. Don't know where the pike is. That's making me nervous. When your Q's on cooldown, you're super easy to kill. So we'll back up out of vision here without trying to miss any minions. Okay, we see where the pike is. Our Q's up. We're a lot safer now. Your Q's are closest thing to a hard escape tool that you have on Lux. So we got a path toward, or play towards our top side here because we have a ward there. She has a control ward here. I could just go ahead and dump this wave. Realistically, 1E completely kills the backline. It's kind of nasty. She's doing a decent job of dodging rock Qs I'm throwing out. The only time we hit her with skill shots is when she's standing still to auto attack. All right, we see the Diana. Cool, cool, cool. She's probably going for the Scuttle Crab if I had to guess. We can roam off with R here. No, never mind. We're fine. Throw an auto in midair. If you throw your auto in midair, it helps you to last hit whenever you're going to activate your E, because you can reactivate your E even if you're in the middle of an auto animation or a different ability like your R. Oh, didn't quite get her with that one. We are still up CS. We're up 8. 20 minions. That is like 3 waves of minions. That's a lot of gold advantage. We'll hit first item considerably before her. Don't want to miss that or that. This is a pretty easy farm wave for both of us. Neither one of us have a very good tool for all-inning the other one consistently other than landing a raw snare. That's pretty much it. We see Diana's top side. We see Pyke's bot side. This is pretty safe to take. Barriers up and shields up. If you're in a matchup where they're never going to have enough damage to really one-shot you, you can run teleport. Teleport's definitely more risky though, because if you end up getting camped, it would have been a lot better to have barrier to survive, especially when you're underneath your turret. Nice, got it. Going for the auto attack. That was a great trade. Lux trades are generally pretty short since your Q is inconsistent to land. It's easiest to land your Q if your E lands, but if you're constantly throwing out EQs, then generally you're gonna run out of mana. And you're also giving them an opportunity to counterpunch you, because if your E and your Q on cooldown, you gotta play back for a while. Are they low? I can't tell. Pyke's probably roaming mid though. I'll get a word down right here. Play away. Typically as a mid laner, you want to try to position more towards the top side of your lane like this, rather than the bot side, because it's generally the supports that are going to be the ones roaming. Oh man, I had to use my Q there to get that one. We have a little bit more of her turret than she has of ours. Oh yeah, she's actually doing an insane job of dodging my Qs without seemingly even trying to. So yeah, pre-6, it's about farming and staying alive mainly. Once you are 6, you have more opportunities to all in, but still it's not ideal. And then you want to try to make it to the team fight stage of the game where people are mashing their buttons and frantically attacking each other to where you can more easily land your skill shots. I have a feeling she has a teammate over there. That was a really weird pathing she took. My minion's going to go straight into turret. I could reset here. I'll push wave reset. I'm sitting on a full item. They might be going for dragon as well. It'd be nice if the other backline minion would go in the hole there. Oh my gosh. Ow! That was ridiculous. He's gonna die for that though. That wasn't worth. He blew his R. Morgana had lined herself up with the wall. She had nowhere to go at that point. We could snipe her down with R. Pyke had heavy committed for that. I'm a little surprised we end up losing that fight because I killed the Morg, killed the Pyke, and then Viego lost half his health killing me underneath turret. So the fact that that fight went 3 for 3 is kind of crazy. Wasn't really expecting that. It is what it is though. Got Luna's Tempest now. We'll be able to win fights easier. It's usually Sork Shoes, especially if they have a bunch of squishies, and then Shadow Flame. Shadow Flame's really, really good. And then you want the blue ward, of course. The Ocean Drag is one of the hardest ones to take when the enemies are messing with you because it slows per auto attack. So if you're trying to take it, it's doing a lot of damage and slowing. It gives the enemies time to get on top of you. Pyke just got a lot of gold. Bush camping on Lux is extremely efficient. If the enemies are standing still, if they don't know you're there, that's what makes your skill shots easy to land. Get an auto on him, down he goes. We get a big W off on our teammates. Hey, you're dead. She had nowhere to go. On your R, you wait till you land your Q, or you wait until they're lined up against a wall to where they can't dodge it. But if they're out in open space where they can dodge in any direction and you throw out an R, it's gonna miss. Or should miss them. The threat oftentimes of having an ability rather than using it and missing, oftentimes it's better to have it and not use it than to use it and miss it, because once you've missed it, now you're at a huge disadvantage and they can play aggressive with you or whatever. I thought her burn was still on me, but it wasn't. I got to get out of here. Pyke's going to be here in a moment. Pyke's going to jump over the wall and snatch me up. He's pretty fed too. He's been landing R's. With your blue wards, Farsight Alteration, you typically lay them defensively to make sure you're not getting cheesed. Or if you think they're on an objective, you can lay it to check safely. So we see Pyke's bot side right now. E is costing 110 mana, Q is costing only 50, so we'll go ahead and drop a Q on this. It's less than half the price at the moment. Q damage per level goes up, E per level gets more damage, bigger is slow, higher mana cost, and the lower cooldown. A lot more happens per level on the E than the Q, which is why you max it first. I'll camp my ward here. We're around the wall, they're not going to expect it. Oh yeah, he's gonna escape. I wonder if he knew I was there. He probably just saw our mid lane was missing. Hiding up behind the wall. They're likely to go for that control ward. We'll float an auto midair and activate the E. The auto finishes. They land pretty much at the same time. The waves spread out pretty hard there for whatever reason. Nice. Nice. And she wants this last one. Ooh. She doesn't quite die from that. I took a lot of damage from that trade. Her two abilities do so much damage. Holy crap. I lost almost as much HP as her. Wild. If I can... These minions, I don't know what they're getting blocked on, but they're segmenting heavily. I'm gonna have to hit the Diana. She's forcing the front there. I need to thin out this wave. Lux, Ziggs, and Xerath are great for thinning out waves like this. Makes it hard for enemies to take the turret without Baron buff to buff up their minions. This is gonna wipe my turret. I can't stay here. My turret's gone once that lands. Yeah. It is what it is. I need a teammate over here. Got a little shield on the Camille. She finishes that. I get the slow, miss my Q. Land the R. Yeah, missing my Q there was kind of bad. It is what it is, though. We threw it out too soon. There was no rush. Hadn't done the mental calculations yet. My teammates had pressure on her, so she wasn't even really able to juke it, or otherwise she would guarantee her death if she did. Mord's pull there messed up the minions a little bit for us. Missed cannon, unfortunately. I'll lay a defensive blue ward again. I have flash. So this doesn't make sense to be here because we're missing our minions. By standing here, there's all risk and no reward for us. Plus, I'm sitting on a lot of gold. I can almost finish my Shadow Flame. I just need a little bit more. We'll stand away from her. Not worth dying. Keep an eye on the Pike. Looking at their boots, they're all tier 2s, and then Pike is fast tier 2s. My team isn't even all tier 2s yet. Camille's missing boots. We'll slow these down, pull them all inside of it. Now we can reset. Sitting on a lot. Oh, man. Getting pretty fed. It's all about staying alive. We're at 188 CS, 21 minutes in here. Grab a control ward. Third item on Lux, if you have a big front line, which we do, ours is arguably bigger than theirs with the Mord Rakan Camille versus just a Diana Viego Pike. In that case, we can go Death Cap. Otherwise, if your front line is smaller than theirs, oftentimes you have to go for Zhonya's to self-peel. Yeah, she was pulling it out of my E there, so I kind of stole that from us. He's dead. I was going to R, Jinx Rocket landed. We'll get an E down. Pike died to something. I didn't even see what. We land the R. Down she goes. She gets sniped. Very nice. Love to see it. R's only on a 30-second cooldown now. I remember at one point on Lux, they changed her R to where if you got a killer assist, it made her R 50% shorter. But then they got rid of that. But still, only a 30-second cooldown right now is kind of ridiculous. I guess that's why you go Ultimate Hunter. That's super short. 3 of them are dead. We should have gone for a dragon here. 100%. Use the empowerment. If you tap your E or press it while it's in midair, it'll go off immediately when it lands. So you can buffer it in that way to where once it officially lands, it'll go off. Got it. Nice, nice, nice. 613. Dang, dude, that's a lot of damage from 1 E. It's because it's the Luden's damage as well there. An extra 130. Plus it speeds us up. Lay a defensive one right there. Always use your blue trinket defensively, or if you think they're cheesing a Baron or Dragon, you can use it offensively. Because we can set up multiple at a time. We can have as many on the map as we want until they get broken by the enemies. I have no clue how that got pulled out. Mord's going deep. She's dead. I mean, she had to juke my R, and she basically just juked into him, so I'll take it. Give Mort a little shield. There's a nasty play happening here. My Q did some damage, but the shield mainly blocked it. We land the Q as she's coming out of Zhonya's. Mort needs to get out, though. Oh, the turret shot kills. Got it. Got my E. He died from my E. My R didn't even need to land. I have my W. I don't think Mort needed a flash there, to be honest. Well, if he's going to eat the turret shot. E's are much easier to land the closer you are because it has a shorter travel time. So no matter how they juke, unless they have a dash in their kit, they'll pretty much die to it. The whole time there, we were never the front line. When you're in a team fight, if you can make sure you always have a teammate in front of you with a little bit of a space, it makes it easy to land skill shots, and it also makes it easier to shield your teammates, which is more valuable if they're the ones tanking. Because Lux is not tanky, and once the enemies are on top of you, it's hard to get away. R is such a short cooldown, it's ridiculous. She's so good right now, man. I want to play some Lux support. I used to play a lot of Lux support back in the day before it was really meta. A lot before I used to see everyone kind of playing it. Nice, nice, nice. So much damage. Luden is by far the best mythic on Lux. Your only other real mythic option is Crown if they have a Zed or a Talon. It's a hard point and click CC assassin. Or Leandri's if they're stupidly tanky. If they had a Zac and a Mundo, that type of stuff, double Giga tanks, then Leandri's is decent. Otherwise, 8 out of 10 times, Luden's is the way to go. Feels bad. I thought she was going to get hit by that Syndra ability is the only reason why I threw out my shield. It's a pretty short cooldown at this point. So we have a blue ward here. I put one here. So we have 3 blue wards on the map right now, all defensive. So we know whether or not they're deep warding our jungle or trying to find a super deep flank to pick a kill on us. When you're playing a defensive mage, that's the way to go, because the only way you die is if they get a surprise positioning on you, because you can always just step back as long as they're not already behind you. Pyke's in a weird spot. I can't hit him. He's gonna jump. We land the snare because he's charging Q. He got greedy there. There's a delayed animation when he's throwing out Q to where he couldn't jump for like half a second, and that's how he ended up getting himself killed. Got himself bamboozled there. The hook animation has to end before he can use his dash mechanic or his speed up mechanic. We are closing in on him there. What is going on up here? There's a fight with Diana. 3 of them are dead right now, so I don't know. She's in the no man's land. I land the shield, both double-sided on Camille. So she did the ultimate sin, something that you never ever do. She did something that you should never ever do when you're trying to get away from skill shots, which is position yourself on hard structures or wall, things that you can't move through. So for example, she was here. She positioned herself around this throat, around the turret and the wall. And that's a death trap. You never want to do that versus skill shots, hooks, or LUX, or any type of skill shots. You're going to get hit. It's this little rectangular area right here between a wall and a turret is a no-go zone. She needed to reposition, move around here, and she would have had a much better chance of juking. Pick up mesh since I'm 10 stacked, and then I'll pick up some of this. We kind of need Dragon. Mord shouldn't have died there. He put our team in a bad spot. I don't know if they're on Baron right now. They're probably not if she's mid. I gotta stay alive. Well, if you buy Mej, you really need to stay alive. It's giving us 10% extra movement speed right now since we're 10 stack. So if we die, it's gonna be bad for us. We'll have 0 stacks and we'll lose the 10% movement speed. Landed the R and it didn't kill. Got her with the E. Missed the Q. Jinx is popping off though. Landed the W. That's a double shield. And that's a double Q, or at least a single Q. Oh, you see how easy it is to dodge the LUX R? He reacted late, but since he has fast boots, he could get out of it so easily. LUX shields are so good, bro. It's over a 400 shield if we land both sides of it. Kind of ridiculous. That should be Dragon. We can't end yet. Jinx is low mana. She's not going to be able to rocket spam, and they're all spawning in out of base with base speed up. If you die, you get base speed up, or if it's 20 minutes into the game, you get fountain speed up as well. CS score is down quite a bit. Jinx has been taking many of our minions mid lane. Haven't been getting much CS lately. I could probably smite this. Camille's not here. Camille jungle's becoming a little bit more common, but it's still not ideal, I would say. Our ER combo is only doing about 1700 damage there against Dragon. I did it at 2k, left it with around 300 HP. I'll sell D-Ring, pick up Needless. We don't need the D-Ring mana anymore. Once you have your Mythic, it's not that you want to sell your D-Ring, but you just no longer need it. And they quit. They had enough. They certainly weren't going to outscale us from that point forward. We had the big Jinx. We'll take a look at damage dealt, damage taken. Looking at damage dealt to enemy champions, we had the most in the game. Lux is kind of crazy, man. But Rune's really high value. Lux, mid, and support are both really good right now. Highly recommend it. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. My name is Kingsticks. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you guys next time.